Again, if you have questions, please raise your hand, and we'll get the microphone to you up here in the second row.
Jonathan Seal, US Lacrosse Magazine. What was the message at halftime? Because things obviously took a turn for the better. Whoever feels like is most prepared to answer that.
Yeah, so basically Acacia was not that happy with our performance, and neither were we. Our team is really good at handling that adversity of kind of the first half, and we broke up into our sections being defense and offense, and kind of went over like basically our three strengths, like what got us here, and to get back to that, because we weren't being good shooters. We on offense, I don't want to speak for defense, but I don't know much about defense. I don't, what made us good shooters? Shooting is what got us here too. Our ball movement, kind of everything like that, kind of focused on our unit, not so much inspirational because that was already there. It was more technical stuff.
Thank you very much, Kate. Kenzie, if you don't mind responding to that as well.
I think we just tried to go back to what got us here. So, like she said, shooting, ball movement, and just heart to win. And I think that's what we did.
Kenzie, you have experience in the Frozen Four. Do you think that helped you in the Final Four for women's lacrosse? Do you think that championship experience meant something?
Yeah, definitely. One thing my hockey coach told us through the past 3 years at the Frozen Four is to not get too high, but don't get too low. So stay in the middle, and that's what Acacia actually said at halftime too.
Yes, in the second row.
Dan Rubin from BCEagles.com. Kate, it seems like the team has always been kind of so much, not necessarily so much better, but gets stronger in the second half the course of the whole season. What's kind of the main reason for that?
Well, it's something that we understand happens to us a lot, and you can either crumble from it or you can own it and do everything you can to fix it. And if we're having a first half like that, where it's like, okay, this is the game again, we're going to be a second half team, we're just going to own it and get fired up from it and come out in the first 5 minutes and kind of destroy the draw and get as many goals as we can, and basically we don't get really insecure from it. It's part of sometimes who we are.
Yes, back in the second row.
For Zoe, that first half things were kind of coming fast and heavy at you. There was a lot of shots, a lot of offense. I think Navy outshot you guys almost double, same with draw controls. So what's kind of going through your mind as you're being forced to kind of stand tall time and time again and really kind of answer the bell that Navy was bringing?
I think it's the biggest, sorry, the biggest thing on defense is just kind of taking it one play at a time, and every time the ball comes down, it's regroup. It's a new 90 seconds on the shot clock. We all have to do our jobs and just hope that everyone trusts each other. We make the stop. If not, it's a goal. Shake it off, figure out what we did wrong, move on to the next one. It's kind of not how many shots you see, how many offensive possessions they have, just kind of taking them one at a time and staying focused in the moment and not thinking about the last one or the next one.
Yes, in the middle.
This is for all you guys. Just curious, what message do the Patriots have for you guys?
So do you want to?
I'm sorry, can you ask that again?
What kind of message do the Patriots have for you guys? Or Belichick, I know he's been around here, and did they kind of say anything to you guys?
Exactly what you would think. Do your job. Don't be afraid. Let the leaders lead and let everybody else step up. And he said something that stuck with me is that you don't have to have experience in this moment to make it work. He talked about Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl in his second year, Lawrence Taylor leading the Giants to the playoffs his second year. We have no experience here, but I think what we took home from that message was that you don't have to have experience, you just have to do your job, and you have to do what got you there.
Thank you very much, Coach. Do we have any final questions for the players in the back row?
Zoe, this is for you or Coach. It's an interesting position, obviously, playing goalie, and more interesting when you see two goalies split time, and it doesn't always work for teams. However, it's been successful for you guys, especially here in this run. How does that work for you two, and what's the dynamic like between you two?
It's really good, actually. We are both very different goalies, so every practice we can learn so much from each other. And she's a lefty on a righty, she plays differently, I play differently, and so we can kind of go back and forth, and I can see what Lauren's doing and be like, oh, like that works when that happens, like I should try that. And we're watching the same shooters, we can scout people together, we kind of are like a team rather than going out there alone in the crease every day. It's kind of nice to have someone to fall back on and have support constantly. It's really nice.
Coach, we'll hold off before you respond on that, and then we'll wrap up with the players. We have a final question here in the front row.
Paul Crone from US Lacrosse Magazine. Kate, just go back a minute or two to what you were talking about with some first half struggles this season. If you can, look forward to Maryland on Sunday. How important do you think it will be to not have perhaps a slow first half against them on Sunday?
Obviously it's huge. I give a lot of respect to Maryland. They're a phenomenal team and program with great coaches, and to be honest, we respect every opponent we go against, but nothing phases our team that much. We stay extremely grounded, and I think that even though we maybe didn't have the greatest first half, it's something that we have fixed by the end of our season. And none of us are really worried about that because we know that we had a bad first half this game, and it's something that we've been working on, and it won't happen again. So we're very, like I said, nothing phases us. We're very confident going in against Maryland, you know.
Thank you much to all three of you, and we'll let you get going. You can go back to work. And we will open it up to questions for Coach Walker, please. In the front row.
Sorry, Bill Wagner from the Baltimore Sun Media Group. So on the transcript, the person who didn't identify themselves, that was me. Acacia, what did you find there in the second half at the beginning? It seemed like you put Weeks kind of goal line extended facing the field, and she had 3 assists, like cutters. It just looked like you found something that was working there.
Yeah, we just made a slight adjustment. They were doing a really good job of covering her in the center. She's a really, she's a threat off ball. So we've just been practicing sort of an inverted version of our motion where we put Kenzie or Sam inside to sort of separate the gaps of the zone, and then just put Kate in a position to be able to feed. So luckily they're multi-dimensional, and it allows us to be able to make an adjustment like that. And it wound up working. It helped us against Syracuse, it helped us against USC, because I think towards the end of the season you can be a little bit predictable. So we just tried to make some adjustments so that wouldn't happen.
Yes, in the third lineup.
Hi, Hannah McLaughlin from BC Heights, or Heights.com, whatever. So congratulations. And also, this question is, so Navy came out with 9 goals in the first half, and then the BC defense held them to 15. Would you say that that's a product of switching the goalie or a change in strategy, or do you think the team just played better overall?
Maybe a little bit of all of it, really. We knew coming in that we were going to have to make defensive adjustments because we were prepared for them to have, some of our defensive tendencies scouted. So as expected, Cindy knew where to plug right in and who to attack and where to attack. But luckily we made a couple of adjustments. The goalies thing helps us every game. But also I think the girls just sort of felt the moment at halftime, and we just recalibrated and came out, and the whole team just played a little bit better. We were being out hustled. We can't have that happen.
Yes, in the third row.
Coach, your team scored your first 7 shots in the second half. Did you see something out of the locker room, or did you tell your team to look for something, or just they happened to fall?
No, we were shooting horribly in the first half, and shooting's been our thing all year. So I just told them they're just turning and shooting. They weren't actually turning and looking. And at this level, you can't just throw a simple fake in. You have to have 2 or 3 fakes that allow you a little bit of extra time to see where the goalie's stepping and where to shoot. In the first half, we weren't doing that, and you know, she lit us up as expected. But they just made some adjustments and just, you know, we just mapped out what we needed to do at halftime, and they did it.
Yes, in the second row.
Hey Coach, Dan Rubin from BCEagles.com. Championship game's going to be pretty interesting for you, being a native Marylander and playing your alma mater. How special is it going to be that it's against Maryland, and not only that, but you know, now you're kind of an adopted Bostonian playing on the home turf. What's all that mean to you?
Gosh, I don't know yet. It means everything. I'm just excited. I'm excited for the girls. I don't really think about it having anything to do with me, really. I'm grateful to be there and to be coaching against Kathy, but these girls, they've earned it. It's their opportunity, so really they're in their backyard. I'm just gonna try and do a little bit of scouting in the next couple of days and hope that my girls can put together more of a 60-minute game. It's special though, definitely special.
Yes, in the second row.
Jonathan Siegel from US Lacrosse Magazine. This run has been historic for you guys, although it's not done yet. Big one coming up this weekend, obviously. Just what have you noticed in the girls to kind of stay grounded? I know that's a phrase that they use a lot, but what is it tangibly, do you think, that kind of leads to that? Because it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to kind of put it into practice.
Yeah, I've said this, I don't know if it really makes sense, but I'll say it again. I think the reason why they're able to stay grounded is because they're really smart kids. They're very smart people. So I think they almost know better than to get caught up with the bright lights and the noises and the distractions. But I really do think, again, I don't know if that makes sense, but they're really smart. So, you know, I always say, like, when I was in this moment, I was just like super jacked up and was getting distracted by this and that. But these girls are really smart, they know better. We've also practiced, we visualize and we meditate all the time. We practice this moment and being in this moment, and you know, we hold them pretty accountable when I see them staring off, or if I feel like they're drifting off or thinking about something that's not right. I mean, we get right on them as quickly as we can. So I think a part of them are afraid to, but also they're just really smart kids.
Yes, in the second row.
Coach, talk a little bit about the fan support that you had out. I know everybody was wearing those bright neon green t-shirts in the stands. What did that mean for the girls, and what are you hoping for more of that on Sunday?
Well, I think that was kind of part of trying to keep them grounded, as I knew that the crowd would be louder than anything they've ever heard, and I knew that if they were able to look up in the stands and see their families, I think that would help them keep 2 feet on the ground, which was the point of the whole thing. It wasn't really to be obnoxious, it was so that the girls could look up and see their families. Which, you know, this group of girls, they do, they play for their parents and their siblings. So I wanted that to inspire them throughout the game.
Okay. Any final questions for Coach? All right, thank you very much.